Time with Herman and Sharron.
All right, Sharron.
Well, hi there.
Can I keep the door open, honey?
I know.
Is
He's
that right?
so happy with his
Hey, take a
view
look.
out the
Take a
window.
look at our home right outside our window. Can you?
Yeah,
can
I got to
you
get out
see
of the
it?
way here.
Can you get a close? Oh, beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah.
That is in Edmond, Washington.
That's where he'd like to live.
I'd love to live there. That's on the Puget Sound, because I love the state of Washington.
There's whales out there jumping
Oh,
around.
I know it.
probably.
I know it. But we have a guest. Can I close these doors, honey?
Yeah, the reason we're doing this is because our guest lived right there where that house
yes,
is.
I had to give him the address of the house, and that particular house.
And he might buy it when he goes back.
Yeah, that particular house. If somebody is watching, and you just feel like you want to give something away, that is on the market right now for $850,000. So I told Sharron as I'm walking away from the picture, I said, "Wouldn't it be great if somebody just said, 'Here's the title to that house'?" I'm just kidding. Okay, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But it got awfully quiet in here.
It would take me a long time to drive there to see you all the time. That's the problem.
I know, she loves Florida. She really loves Florida because all of our kids are here. Gregory L. Jantz, PhD. This guy has an earned PhD. Gregory, come on over.
Oh, good to see you.
We took you away from Edmond, Washington.
Oh, and it's my home.
Yeah.
That's right. And
Good
listen,
to see you, Sharron.
you were with us back when we were still young.
Yeah.
And
Well,
not so many wrinkles in our
we,
face.
goodness.
we figured out you were probably 40.
Or
could've
maybe
been.
younger, in your 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Gregory had been with us before.
Well, it's
but
been a
long
while.
time
Have
ago.
a
Thank
seat.
you.
Have a seat right here.
Yes.
Right here. There you go.
He's gotten even more knowledge now that we're going to pick his brain today.
Well,
And by the way, if you like what is said today, where's my camera? Okay, there it is. Okay, thanks, Dave. If you liked what is said today, later on, I will try to give you a little heads up, but he's going to be back for his second book. Okay, so it's not consecutive, but he's going to come back, and we're going to interview him on healing depression for life. So I mean this is one of your latest books.
It is.
And so be watching for that, because the information in healing depression for life is absolutely phenomenal. But this particular one is healing the scars of addiction. And this is amazing. There it is. There's the website. Go to that website. I'm telling you, you've written how many books?
well, the Healing Depression for Life is number 39.
Oh,
39.
my goodness gracious.
It says 37 here, so you're way ahead of this.
Goodness. Yeah, he's ahead of his bio.
Right.
But so today we're going to be talking about healing the scars of addiction. And Dave, can you kind of set it up for me on the screen? I'd like you to read this
Sure,
if you would.
sure.
And then we're going to come back and tell them who you are.
Okay.
But share this if you
Yes. Are you an addict? I urge you to courageously and honestly answer the following questions. Do you try to keep what you do secret from others? That's a really important question. And number 2, have you ever lied to others about what you do or how often you do it? In other words, deception. And
would. I just picked some.
yes,
Yeah.
these are
Yeah.
good ones.
Good.
Yeah. Number 3, would you rather spend time doing this than being with other people? Wow, that's a big one. Number 4, have you ever gotten into financial trouble because of whatever it is you're doing? And number 5, are you preoccupied thinking about this?
Okay. Can we come back to
Yes.
All those.
to Gregory and get a close-up, Dave, of his face? Okay. Got gorgeous hair, good face.
Okay.
Sharon's going to tell you all about
You
Gregory.
got a good face,
Yes.
Gregory.
Okay.
Gregory Jantz, PhD. So I'll call you Dr. Gregory?
Absolutely. Yes.
Is
He
it-
earned it.
That's right. He is the
We're
founder.
honorary doctors, Sharon and I, from our college.
Yes.
But you earned it.
He's the founder of the Center, a place of hope in Washington State, which was voted one of the top 10 facilities in the United States for the treatment of depression. There's so much of that going on now. He is a mental health expert who has pioneered whole person holistic care. He is a popular speaker and award-winning author of more than 39 books.
Okay.
Dr. Jantz has appeared on CNN, Fox, ABC, CBS, and has been interviewed by many magazines, and we are so fortunate to have him with us today.
Well,
Thank you for making it back. See, I mean,
yeah.
we were just talking about Sharon and I, at our age, most of our friends are all dead, the ones we went to college with. So
Well-
we're always getting announcements, so-and-so that you went to Trinity College with passed away, so-and-so that you went to Trinity College with passed away. It's amazing.
It is.
Well, that's life.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that I can come back and see you.
That's
thank
right.
you.
That's right.
Yes.
Now, how about your family?
So I've been married 36 years. I have 2 sons. I have a 17-year-old and I have a 20-year-old.
Wow.
I know.
Now, I'm going to jump through your book because obviously our
Sure.
time
Yeah.
frame is not to cover everything, but we're going to get a lot of it. It all depends on you.
Okay.
I mean, it depends on how you...
I'm going to have some good
Yes,
answers
that's
for you
right.
today.
And you talk about chapter 2, treating the whole person.
Yes.
And you talk about alcohol, prescription meds, addictive behaviors, gambling, sexual addiction, which is porn, shopping, even shopping you cover.
Well,
in the
Oh,
book.
now, come on.
Yeah. And television watching, social media, even cell phone addiction.
Yes.
So can we walk through some of those?
Let's
I mean,
do.
why is that in
Yeah.
the camp of addiction?
Isn't that interesting? Digital addiction. You ever think about how many times that we check our cell phone and we're going for it? That connection.
You know, when I leave it at home sometime, and I drive over here to my office,
And you
I
go-
go home and have food, and
Yeah.
eat, and drive, and I forgot my phone, and you feel like part of yourself
Yes.
was left at home.
And think about our kids who they've been tethered to technology since the day they were
yeah.
born. We're kind of later adopters,
Yeah.
but we've got to have that with us.
Yes.
It's our connection.
Yeah.
So, and I'm saying that's okay, except when it begins to interfere with relationships.
How do you know?
Yeah, I was going to say,
So,
how do you know
well,
that?
if you've been in the restaurant and you've seen the family there,
Oh,
and,
yes.
and everybody's got out their devices,
Yeah, that's right.
or maybe you've been to lunch with somebody and they're texting,
Yeah, I
and
have.
you're talking to them or trying to.
Yeah.
They have something I call continuous partial attention. They're only partially paying
What is
attention.
That's
amazing,
exactly
they
right.
don't know
Right.
while you're talking to them that this is really not something that if this guy is my guest, I shouldn't be doing this.
Right.
So the brain doesn't say,
Right.
this is not good etiquette.
Right, and then they look up at you and they go, "What'd you just say?"
Yeah, yeah.
So it begins to devalue the relationship. So
True.
That's what we're just talking about. How if technology interferes with relationships, or if we turn to gaming, we turn to diversions. Those are escapism behaviors that can create a problem.
Okay, now, it's not bad, right? Unless you become...
There's a line we cross where it does.
So how do you know you crossed the line?
So if you'd rather, well, going back to some of our questions, if you'd rather be with that device than people,
Just like we just said there.
how about that?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
like this is more interesting than you talking.
Yes. So, or, for those who struggle with addiction and they're into social media, and that's their life.
Okay, in other words,
And they're
Facebook?
Facebook, they're taking selfies, they're preoccupied with the social media. So much so that that's where they're getting all their value.
Who would have thought when that thing hit
Yeah.
that it would be $1 billion business?
Well, yes, and there's always something new as it relates to technology, always. There's the next new app. Our kids, age 12 to 17, they're big consumers of technology.
There's no way to break that, though, is there? I mean, even if you have an addiction to it, how do you get them away from
Good
it? It's
question.
almost
Well,
impossible.
Good question.
Well, so we have something we do at home. This is just a little personal example. At home, you can't have your devices at the dinner table.
Ooh.
Okay, for having dinner together, you're with that.
I think
with
I'm
one
going to
another.
do that when I take a guest out again and they start on the phone thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to say there's a requirement I have.
That's a good idea.
You put it on off and put it inside your pocket.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's, now we have one exception to that. We pick a night of week for dinner. We call it digital dinner. It's when I learn about, it's the one time you can bring your phone to dinner and show us anything you want to show us.
Ooh.
It's my opportunity to learn about their world. What are they doing, and to ask questions.
Well, that's a great idea.
So I'm still engaged, and that's the only time that it's allowed.
So they don't feel like it's taboo.
You're right.
Yeah.
Right. Digital dinner, we call it.
Now, it's a funny thing. Go ahead. You were going to say
If you know of someone, say, that maybe is addicted to something like that, some technology, say Facebook or Twitter or something,
Sure.
if you say to them, you're overdoing this, you shouldn't be on it so much, you're going to make them upset. You're going
Right.
to make them angry.
So one thing you could do is I really enjoy being with you. Can it just be you and me here for the next 15, 20 minutes?
That's a great.
So put it in a positive.
But I need your
Yeah.
voice tone.
Yeah.
Too.
Well,
Because I'm not going to say, can you put that thing away? But the way you said it is like comforting.
Yes.
Well,
and
that's
it's true. We really do
yeah.
value the relationship. That's a distraction.
Yeah. Now, reading your books, it's interesting because I brought up the fact that alcohol. Okay.
Yes,
I can
yes.
understand that you can be addicted to
Yeah,
it. Okay. And I had my dad's brothers or whatever
Yeah.
were some of them were alcoholics, so I can understand that.
Sure.
And prescription meds,
Yeah.
you get hooked on that too?
Well, we start to misuse them and not taking them as prescribed.
Okay, now how do you know, just like using Sharon's question,
Yes.
how do you know that you are in that category? People watching right now, how do they know they're there?
If I'm asking to get a prescription refilled a lot sooner than it's supposed to be, and that's a pattern. So we're looking at patterns. We're also looking at what am I self-medicating for? What is really going on here? What am I really doing? If it's alcohol, prescription drugs, social media, what am I self-medicating for? What am I actually escaping from? So
Good
where's
question.
the emotional pain?
Okay. Wow.
So that's what you need to find
What am
then.
I
You need to
escaping
find
from?
why you need all this
Yeah.
in your life.
Well, yes, it's serving a purpose,
Yeah.
but what's really underneath it all?
Isn't it to distract you mentally?
It may be, yeah. So one of the things that we do at the Center, A Place of Hope, is people, when they check in with us, they have to check in anything with a screen. Okay?
Okay.
And I can tell you that 2/3 or more, after they reluctantly give the cell phone or anything with a screen, by day 2, they're saying, hey,
I can't do this.
look, I need to check my email, or I got to do, and they're having.
So how do you handle that?
Well, they're having some symptoms of withdrawal. They've got sweaty palms. They're anxious. They feel that disconnection anxiety.
Now, you
so-
were telling me you actually have cabins on the Puget Sound where they can go to?
We have beautiful, better than that. Not a cabin. They're actually facilities and homes. So we do things really in a very nice way. We're celebrating our 36th year.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but one of the things that we tell a person is, we kind of expect that to happen on the technology, but at the end of their first week with us, if things are going well, we do have a checkout system. Okay, on Saturday for an hour, and they check things back in. The reason why is we don't want that to be a distraction from what they really need to be doing.
Otherwise, they won't learn.
It's like, because they're preoccupied.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now, and like I said, alcohol I understand, prescription meds,
Yeah.
I can understand that. Tobacco, so you have people come to try to,
Well, rarely does a person come because of an addiction.
okay. Oh, really?
Usually they're going to come, they're going to go, my life's unmanageable.
So they don't tell you what it is?
Well, they may, but if it's an addiction, we always kind of downplay it. The person says, because that's the denial. It's not that bad. I do drink a little bit occasionally. It's not that bad, which they're not telling the whole truth. But they're going to be coming for depression. They're going to be coming for anxiety. Their life's unmanageable, and those are just, addictions are just ways of coping.
What is a functioning alcoholic?
Well, that's kind of a funny term, functioning alcoholic. I mean, how well are you really functioning, right?
Isn't that interesting? The reason I said it is like a weird
Yeah.
word in front of alcohol.
Yeah. It's really a person with a dependency that's learned a way to cope.
Yeah.
But honestly, they're not managing well.
I read where it's a guy that can down a fifth
Yeah.
and it doesn't even affect him.
Well,
In other words, he can
he
function.
he has a high tolerance.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Now,
how long do they need to stay at this facility? Say they come, they're out of control. Say, is there a
We
certain
usually
time
see
limit?
people for about 4 weeks. It's very much a whole.
they're there for 4 weeks.
4 weeks, sometimes longer, like if it's an eating disorder or something that's they need to stay longer for. But yeah, we actually build a program and a treatment team just for them. If they have more medical issues, they
Is
see
that
our
right?
medical. So
Wow.
it's really, if you will, custom designed.
So
That's
you
amazing.
have people. I mean, like a guy comes in. You look at him and goes, he's going for at least 400 pounds. You know what his addiction is, right?
Food addiction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that can be handled. I mean, like the guy in that week will lose what, 50
well,
pounds?
really what we want to do, we also want to get to what, there's some medical issues we've got to watch too.
Yeah.
But for that person, we want to get to what is the core issues
that's the
that's
key.
causing this behavior. So that's really what we do. We're all about, we've got to get, what's those real issues going on?
So each one of these addictions have a core mental
or maybe there's been trauma in a person's life.
The whole facts are in the book. So you get the book. We're just, surfing through this
Yeah.
thing. But let me tell you, he goes in detail.
So
But okay, your question was? I interrupted.
No, but that's all right. That's all right. It's amazing how many different addictions
Well,
that
there
you're
are.
talking about. There's many of them,
yeah, yes.
And
usually the addiction, if you just follow the road, it's going to take you to trauma, if it's unresolved hurt, unforgiveness in a person's life, maybe the person had some real abuse in their life, and the addiction's just been a way to kind of deal or cope with it.
It's kind of, and what I like about the book is you tell stories about people
Yeah.
in here.
Yeah.
And so you weave it
Yes.
that you could find yourself in one of the chapters
Right.
and probably say, this is me. He just talked about me. Like Lewis, for example, his father was an alcoholic, and he became addicted to porn.
Yes. So we sometimes see a theme of addiction in a family.
oh,
So we do see that a lot. You think
So it's inherited, an addictive
well,
personality?
I think more than that, it's learned.
yeah.
We didn't learn good ways of coping with maybe anger, fear, guilt, how to have good, healthy relationships. So we learned just this pattern of addiction.
So what would you say the most people come for? Which addiction do you see the most, I guess is what I'm saying? Is there one that you get more people with that problem than you do other people?
Well, we still see a lot of alcohol. I'm going to add, though, probably I'm seeing more technology.
Is that right?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. With that, I would say pornography, online sexual addiction.
That's right. It goes with it, doesn't it?
So probably more of that. We work a lot with men, and so that certainly does come up.
I read recently that, talking about technology again, that 60% of pastors view pornography regularly. Man, that is.
Yeah.
Now, would that be an addictive? I mean, that's like if you see it, whether you glance at it or you go back to it or whatever. 60% of that would that be in the family of addiction?
I think it could be. I'm looking again for patterns. Has this been a pattern that keeps going on and on? We work with pastors, probably see about 2 pastors a month from all over the country. But we're seeing more depression, anxiety, and then sometimes we're going to see kind of an addiction. Seeing more alcohol with pastors here more recently. But the online.
Isn't that's interesting that you should.
Yeah.
You should say that now. The guy's preaching the Bible.
Yeah.
Trust the Lord.
Yes.
Depend totally on Him.
Right.
The guy is praying, obviously. He's putting his message together. He's asking God to give him that message. And he's an alcoholic.
He's struggling.
He's struggling.
Mm-hmm. He's struggling.
So it's funny you should tell, but one of my favorite authors, I got one of his books out of a used bookstore.
Yeah.
And I'm reading it. Now this guy is, I'm not going to tell you his name. Maybe someday I will. Maybe someday I'll have him. But his whole chapter was, he loves beer.
Okay.
And he talks about, there's nothing like a beer with a pizza, and when I'm reading that chapter, I'm going, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
are you serious? And he's just openly talking about it. And so he said, and then what made it worse, he said, all of a sudden, one time he said, I was going to this big speaking engagement, and I stopped in at a 7-Eleven to get something or whatever, and he said, I looked over at the cooler, and that beer said, please, please. And he said, I took it, put it in a brown paper bag, because he said, I didn't know, maybe somebody recognized me on my way to this big speaking engagement. And he says, and I sat there and I drank that, and he said, I go, wow. I mean, he's explaining in the book, and it's just like, he said, that was the most, oh my goodness. He said, and he said, then I found myself on another speaking engagement, looking, and I'm going, there's that beer again, come on.
Yep.
And he said, all of a sudden one day I woke up and I go, this has grabbed me again.
Yeah.
And he talks about it. He said,
Right.
so, but he never got to the place where he said that I looked at it as a sin. He said I looked at it, it was starting to control me.
Yeah.
That's the deal.
And it was doing to me exactly what I taught people in my seminars never to allow.
Yes. Yep. And that's how it can happen. Remember, addiction is subtle and it's sneaky, but then it gets that stronghold, and we repeat those patterns. So, and if you're struggling with an addiction, I just want folks to know it's not about shame. Nobody started off to say, hey, I want to be an alcoholic or I want to be an addict, but that's where it took you. So don't let shame stop you from getting help. And we see lives transformed.
Well, I know you just mentioned pastors come to you.
Yes.
And want help.
Yes.
I can imagine that, because, I mean, some of the people that come to you, I mean, you may have some guy walk in, you go, I know who this is.
Correct.
Even before he gives his name.
Yeah.
So that's the kind, it's like high profile people.
Absolutely.
They're the kind that want to hide.
So, yes. Yep.
So you allow them to do that.
So they need a safe place to come and get help.
Yeah.
You talk about when addiction is gone.
Yeah.
Is there such a thing?
Well, I think there's always the tendency that a person could have to slide back. You get a time of chronic stress, and you go, and you find yourself thinking about something you hadn't thought about for a long time. So I think you can live free of it, but understand that there is a possibility for temptation.
And we're the ones that open that door.
We do.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, we would deny it,
Yes.
but we do.
Right. Yeah.
So how do you help them not open the door?
Well, this is where that self-care and I'm going to go back to great nutrition, movement, exercise, drinking your water, doing all the things that fundamentally that helps. Obviously, you're going to need to have some really good relationships that are really trustworthy. Well, it could be
with a wife or with someone.
Well, I want that to be a great relationship, but there may need to be another person, even of accountability. If I'm struggling, who am I going to tell?
How do you find a trustworthy person? I mean, if a guy is going to unload on somebody. I was with a pastor some time ago and whatever, and he unloaded on me what a guy came to him and said.
Sure.
And while he's telling me about what this guy is talking about, I'm going, man, that guy had to trust you.
Right.
To just unload.
Right.
So how do you get a person to that point?
Well, and sometimes it's having a mentor. Sometimes it's having a sponsor. We have a program for our alumni where we assign them to a mentor, somebody that's already walked the journey. Where if you need additional support, have somebody that really is in a mentor role.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah. About 3 minutes. 3 minutes is very short, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's your camera right there.
Yeah.
I like your voice demeanor, the way you are. But
Very
somebody
calm.
watching, help them.
Sure.
And you have this 3 minutes to kind of maybe restructure where they're going.
Yeah. One of the things that I want to say is don't let fear stop you from getting help. Don't let fear paralyze you. That's what it does. Or shame. So today can be that turning point. And Today can be an opportunity to get new information, to make a decision. We only live in regret when we don't make a decision. And so today, make a decision. I'm going to get help. I'm going to get new information. But you've got to make a decision and be courageous. And you can do this. I want to just personally tell you, I know there's hope. And as I have seen now through the years, many folks walk through this. They don't regret it. And they're going to live a different life. And let's have you on the path that really God has for you. And so with great compassion, I want you to know there's hope.
That's the key, is where we are to the point, and especially I can see in heavy addictions, that we feel there's no hope.
We feel despair.
I remember years ago a pastor that he wrote a book also, this long time ago, and he had a thriving church, and he said one Wednesday night, which they had prayer meeting, he was sitting across the street from his church with a revolver in his hand, and he was doing this. He was going to take himself out. He was addicted. And he couldn't take it anymore. And something happened that stopped him from doing that. And he confessed to his church and got help. And hope came back.
And by him doing that, think of all the people that
That's right.
he gave hope to.
Wow.
That's right.
So hope comes when there's a plan.
Did you ever have a problem yourself?
So I'm going to be sharing later about depression and some of the things that I walked through.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Okay,
That's
now
right.
watch
Place
for
of
that.
Hope. That's where they can go.
Yeah.
They can go to that website and learn more about this place.
When Gregory comes back, don't
Yeah.
forget, put this on your schedule. I don't know if they give schedules on its time. That's what we are right here. It's time with Herman and Sharron.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they give you a program schedule on air. But if you see Healing Depression for Life, we're going to be interviewing. He's going to be here again, and I just hate to take him away from Edmond, Washington.
Well,
If you've ever been, we always go to Leavenworth, Washington, which is about 100 miles outside of Seattle. Just breathtaking. It's like being in a European Bavarian village, and it just revamps your whole breathing. Really, it does. Thank you for being here.
Oh, good
Get
to
the
be with you.
book. It's amazing. God bless. Bye-bye.